What? Okay, so my mic was mute. Again, start. Hey everyone, and welcome to the live stream. If you are learning Fast API Python, this live stream is for you. Um, in this live stream, we are going to build one application in which we connect PostgreSQL database to Python code. We set up our PostgreSQL database, then we connect with Python with fast API framework. We insert and fetch user data using SQL queries. We create endpoint for the APIs, and we add authentication and authorization in this project. All these things we are going to cover in this live stream. Okay, so before jumping into code, let's discuss so before jumping into the code, I will discuss this folder structure that I already created here. So first we have file that is db.py. So in this file we handle the database connections. Okay, and then we have models.py. In this we contain database schema or models. Then we have service.py. In this we have logic for interaction with the database, and then we have routes.py. In this we write endpoint for our APIs, and then we have main.py. This is entry point for to start application. Okay, so this is the first file which run, then we connect all the file with this main.py. So this is the entry point to start the application. So first we set up our database. Uh, Firstly, you need to install PostgreSQL install on your system. If you don't have it installed, you need to go to the Postgres official website and download it from here. And you can download and set up just like any other application. But make sure you remember your username and password. Username by default that is a Postgres, and you need to set up password. All these things we are going to use in our db.py to connect with so we can connect db to uh, Python or fast API. Okay, so first we create our database. So I will just open pgadmin. So we are going to use Python library scikobg in our fast API application, through which we can connect this application. Sorry, this DB that we are going to create here. Okay. So we create here one new DB, create database, and DB name is auth one. Honor is postgrad. We don't need to do anything. Just we write database name and save. So we have here database that is auth one. We come to schema, and we just come to this query tool. Okay, so here we create one table that is user, and that has a field email and password. Okay, so we create table users which have field email. It is varchar of 255. It's also a primary key, and we have another field password that is a text, not null. Okay, and now we just run this query here, and this query is them. So now if we check here we have table users. Okay, so we need to save email and password in this table here. If we come here and select star from users and run this query, then it does not have any data. Okay, so using the Python we will insert email and password in this table. So for that we come to our VS Code, and we need to use psychobg library. So for that we just need pip install psychobg2 and we hit enter. It is already installed in my system, but if you are using first time, you need to install it using pip install psychobg2. Okay, so we import here, import psychobg2, and from psychobg2 uh, import SQL. Okay, so we will config our DB. For that, we just write DB uh, config, and here host name is our local host, database is Postgres, user is our Postgres, and password is random password, and now we have db name हो गया है, user हो गया, password हो गया. Now db name, db name is what's one, and port 5432. Okay, so this is the configuration of a DB, which you can also check here in property. We have owner, this is Postgres, and DB name is auth1. Password I set here already. User is host, our local host, and port हमारा default, and we have default port 5432 for Postgres. Okay. So now we will create a function that connect with database. So def connect db and try connection by config to connect start db config return connect, and accept exception इसको हम कर देंगे psych object 2 and error as e and e, and इसको हम कर देते हैं raise. Okay, so in through this function we can connect our DB. So we create a function for DB connection. Now we need to check if we already have user. Okay. So we need to check if we need to check and get the user from this table with email, because email is primary key. So we use email here. Okay. I think I need to add one more column in name, right? Okay. So now we will use here create function get def get user by email, and email have we have email and str. We connect our DB here, that is connect DB, and we have cursor query, that is SQL, and select star from user where and email, then we fetch that detail, then we close our connection cursor, and then close the connection. Then here if user है हमारे पास, if we have user, then we return name user 1 user 2 and user 3 नहीं होगा, 0 होगा, 1 and 2. Okay, so here we return name, email and password, and अगर नहीं होता है तो none return हो जाए इसको, right? And we add this in try. अगर इस अगर if we found any error in this, then currently return none. Okay, and this is get user by email. So now we use to save. We write def save user, name, str and password, and here we have connection connect DB. We again similar type this, we connect with DB, then we open our cursor. Uh, So we open a and insert into users where name, email, and password will be insert here. Then we commit our this connection. Then cursor we will close. Then connection we will close the connection. And here we did not return anything. Okay, you don't need to return anything. Just need to save the user. Okay, and now so here first we create the function that is connect db that stabilize and return a connection to the PostgreSQL db using the credentials. Okay, that we set up here. Okay, then we move to the our get user by email. So in this function we pass one email, we connect with db connection, then we execute this SQL query that is select star from user where email this, like that we pass here this email that come here, and this query will be run, and then we will fetch this result from this query that come into the user. So we in the here we have three columns 0 1 2. Then we will return name that is 0 position, email that is in 1 position, and password that is in or second position. Okay, we will return that. If user does not found, it will return none. Okay, then if anything error occur in this part, we will raise a error using the psych object to error. Then we have another function save user. It have three parameters: the name, uh, email, and password. Similar process we have here. Similar process we will stabilize connection with DB, open the cursor, and insert users name, email, password, where we have name, email, password, and commit, close the connection, and this. So we created three functions where we connect DB, get user by email, that through which we get the user information when we pass email to that function, and save user information in which we need to pass name, email, and password, and the information will be saved to DB. And we here use two query. One is select star from user, and one in insert query that insert into user name, email, password. These are simple SQL queries which we used here. Now we will use this query in our API's endpoint. So we have this thing here: insert user email, password, right? What we can modify a little bit this. We'll modify this like this here. Um, Integrate on email, do nothing. Okay. So this will ensure that we don't put insert duplicate emails. Duplicate emails prevent करेगा ये चीज. Okay. Always commit the transaction and uh, close the connection after apply changes. Okay. Now we create here in db.py, but we can create this function in the service.py. So we just copy these functions and we paste here. We are following this folder structure. So we paste here, and here we write here from uh, app.db this function we import from this file. Okay, this function. So now our two file is linked. First we have db file that is stabilized connection. Then we have a service.py where we handle the database query. So we handle two database query. First is get user by email and another is save user. These functions are responsible for the interaction with database to fetch and save the user. Now if we move to our endpoint, so here we come to routes.py. Here we write our API endpoint. So we, we write form fast API import API router and HTTP exception from app.service import ready email and save user. Okay, so we import two functions, that is get user by email from here, this file get user by email, and save user, this function save user in our routes. Okay, here we open a router, an API router, and first we create endpoint for the create user, right? To create user we need to create endpoint. So for that we write here router dot post API here. So we write post here and register, and we create one function def create user. Create user. Here we have email, it is str, and password, and यहाँ पे नहीं आता है. One minute. Okay, so here we write this uh, message is successfully. Okay, so we create a API as a register. We have function create user email as str and password. Get user by email. We check your user if user is already created or not. If you are not already not there in table, then we have uh, if user is already there, then we have user information, then we did this condition pass and we will say user already created. But if not, then we call the save user function which we import here from app.services. We pass email password and we also have name str. We pass here name password, and currently we are not hash the password. We just simply enter the password. There is not recommended, but for now we just simply passing the password in normal text. Okay, we just save and we write come here evcon uh, man dot man app reload. It's like this. Oh, sorry. We didn't write any main file here. Okay, so we get this endpoint. Now we will link this endpoint with our main file here. Okay, so we come here and here we write from FastAPI, import FastAPI from app root, import router, and declare FastAPI app equal to FastAPI and include router here, and run python main.py. Come to this. Why? Uh, okay, include root. Here we write um, so this root folder come this root function run because we have this endpoint and this endpoint is working fine and we have getting message hello world. Now we have a root argument that is a register. So this is post API and we either use the postman to run this API, otherwise we have a swagger in FastAPI, just run slash and doc and we have a swagger. So one we have default API that is a root in this just we just get message that is hello world which we return here, sorry, here. Okay, but we have one API here in routes.py which is register API and you can see here auth and register. Here we need three parameters. One is name, email, and password. We try this and write here name Rohit, email Rohit @gmail.com and password 1234 155 and execute and it's a internal surveyor. Psych object is not defined. Where? Here import psych object. Now if we execute uh, surveyor, SQL is not defined. Import SQL. Sorry. Yeah, dv cut paste now and now we execute error none is not defined and now again we execute. Okay, and it saves your created successfully. Okay, so user created successfully, right? Now if we come here, uh, where in Postgres and check this table, we have here this name Rohit, email is rohit@gmail.com and we have password 345. Now the password is in textful form, that is not recommended. We just did like this is just for now. Now we will create a endpoint for login. Okay, so for that we come to here and here write get API name. This is post API and login, and here we create function def login user, and we need the email and password. User get his email, if not user then password and exception is okay. Check this. We come to here and refresh this. We have one more login, that is and this one. Now we try rohit.gmail.com, password 1235, and execute. The server error, dict has no objective password. And password, if user not equal to password user. Okay, we print here user and we run again, so we get email password. Right now user password. Mhm. Okay, so if we enter wrong password, this will say invalid password, which is a wrong email. It will say it does not exist. It will say correct password, and wrong invalid password. Okay, so this way we can uh, add authentication in our FastAPI application. So today we will learn how to connect our API, how to connect our PostgreSQL with FastAPI application, which we stabilize in db.py. Here we use psychobject2. We write our db configuration, then we create function to connect db, in which we connect stabilize connection with this configuration. Okay, then we write our db query in service.py and query for the get user by email, from where we use select star from user where email match with this email that we pass in parameter. Then again we have another function in which we save the user information, that is name, email, and password. Here we use the SQL query that is insert into users. Users is our DB table. We insert name, email, password, and we write on conflict that will prevent duplicate email. Okay, and then and these two function we use in our routes.py. So this is a login API and is a register API. In register API we create one function, create user. We pass three parameters, name, email, and password. And name, email, password, then we call our get user by email function from service. Here we we select, we fetch all the user with this email. Email is primary key, so only we have one user. We fetch that user and return here in the routes.py. And if user has, so then it will raise the HTTP exception with code 400, and user already exists. You can't register with this email ID. If this is false, then we simply save the user using this function is service API. We come name, email, and password and insert in this query. Okay, then we return the message that user created successfully. After user created successfully, we create the login API. Here we have a function login user with name and password. For login, we only need two parameters, the email and password. We don't need name. So for parameters, sorry, for to check whether the email is correct or linked with any specific user, we use get user by email. We get the user information, which is we have name, name, email, and password 0, 1, and 2 position per. Then if not, user means that email is not found there. Then we raise 400 exception that user does not exist in which you are trying to log in. Okay, and then if user is there, we move to the next. If means user, we able to fetch user information, then we come here and match user password with the password. This is the user password that come from the db from user table, and this password that user provide in the API param. And okay, here then if that does not match, which means password is wrong, then we raise another HTTP exception with status code 400 and detail this invalid password. Then again we, if this condition is also getting false, which means user is there and password is also matched, then we say user login successfully. What this is only a authentication where we passing the password and simply checking this password and email is matched with DB detail or not. But in real scenario, we did not do that simple. We use a password hashing with different algorithm. We use authorization also, through which we can check that user login in our system is valid to data or to that information which he is asking from that API. Okay, all these things we are covered going to next stream. Till then, enjoy coding, learn Python, and become programmer.